So just pull this up here. So I'm very excited to introduce you. For many of you already know Christina, but still, Christina Imre is a fractional CEO, COO. She's a strategic advisor, self-described polymath strategist, helping deep tech and AI-driven companies scale without losing their human edge. And as for those of you who know me and have heard me before, you know that this combination of AI and humanity is something that's very dear to me in my own values and position regarding technology. As a founder of a tech leadership lab and Quantum Winds, and as a strategic advisor at Founder Tech, she specializes in identifying organizational breakage points and people depth before technology amplifies them. Our mission is to bridge the gap between behavioral science and high stakes operations to ensure the intelligent age remains human centric. So, as I said, all of that in our profile is music to my ears. This is important time. We have great technology that is coming up, but we need to make sure that we don't lose sight of what really matters. So without further ado, Christina, if you want to kick this off.
Thank you, Francis, and nice to see everyone. I thought a lot about how to frame this because if you know me, I'm also part of this world as you are. We are the visionaries, we are the dreamers, we are very optimistic about what's going on and what we can achieve, especially with AI. But things shifted, and since you didn't see me, I dig myself more into the security zone and regulatory area and what are we actually doing, especially because I saw so many talk, and especially from those who are driving the AI race right now, we hear talks that our ancestors would just like freeze by panic and fear. And today, the reaction is almost zero in the market. So I thought that, okay, maybe a good storytelling would be a good beginning, especially because we just mentioned the attention span before. It's very low today at the moment. Not many points are taken from any given speech, and by the next day they are usually forgotten. So that's why I will bring a journey, you with me on a journey, and make sure that this has a chance to land and survive in your tomorrow's memory. Imagine that it's 9 a.m. in the morning and it's April 14th, 1912. Imagine that you are standing on the bridge on the unthinkable and the air is crisp. It's just morning. You have the tea or maybe the coffee, and the vibration of the massive engine under you makes you feel like you own the world because you feel progress itself. We are, you say, we are the masters of the Atlantic. And then the first warning comes. It's early, it's just 9 a.m. The Caronia ship whispers a little bit, icebergs are ahead. And we acknowledged it on the ship, but it's just a data point. It's a curiosity, what we are the mega ship. By 1:42 p.m., multiple series of alarms were already into your direction. For example, the Baltic chimes in. More ice, large quantities. We are still in full steam. We don't care. We continue our journey. But then other ship confirms it. And then the map of our reality just starts to have tons of red flags around us, but we don't care because we are the biggest. We are invincible, we thought. As the sun sets, and after a full day almost, multiple warnings turn into observations. At 7:30 p.m., starting from 9 a.m., the California is literally stopped, paralyzed in ice. It's close to us, but we sail past them and we don't just sail. We are in hurry. There is no real reason for us to slow down because nothing bad can happen to us, right? Because always the bad things happen to others. Now imagine that you are in a room full of notes and it's a wireless room and it's 9:40 p.m. and the Mesaba sends the most critical packet of data yet. It says heavy pack ice directly comes your path. But here is the software of your human system breaks. Why? Because the operators of the ship aren't employees of the ship. So they work for Marconi, the big company, and their KPI isn't safety, is throughput. So they are buried in, what do you think? Backlogs of passenger telegrams, rich tourists sending messages to New York, wish you were here. It is absolutely awesome. The Mesaba warning was just something, a distraction. It's buried under the noise, and it never reaches the bridge and the full capacity of your thinking that maybe this is dangerous. It's 10:55 p.m. The California tries one more time. It says they are so close nearby your ship that you can hear them scream almost from the other ship. And they are saying, "Hey, come on, it's ice. We are blocked here." And you just say, "Shut up, I am busy." And 45 minutes later, the iron melts the ice. And now we come up to today because we are meeting now the human algorithm. We like to think that Titanic is just a failure of steel or something else. A simple failure that it could have been avoided is not such a big deal, but it's actually a failure of values. Because we got as humans to prioritize speed over safety. We prioritize commercial output over critical signals. We suffered from the normalcy bias because it helped us and our ancestors. We are alive today because of the multiple biases that our mind formed, but also because we didn't hit the real iceberg yet when it comes to AI.
Mm.
Icebergs don't exist in our world. We are all subjected to shifting baseline syndrome. The shifting baseline syndrome is something very important for us to know because it means each generation typically accepts their world as normal, masking long-term environmental and also social degradation and taking them as something that is just the way it is, nothing urgent to solve. And as a species, we have a tragic habit of building the lighthouse only after the ship has hit the rocks. We learn through disaster and not through foresight. And so, the necessity of human values, why it's absolutely a necessity to embed human values inside the software, is because the state of artificial intelligence operates on cold and calculated logic. And without the human empathy, you can have, what do you have? You have the messy type of humanesque attributes of love, meaning, morality. An immensely powerful AI doesn't need to be even too much evil to be an existential danger in these conditions because it operates on different kind of systems. And so why we are here, it's because we are not building ships and we are building something much more powerful. We are building the infrastructure of human life, the digital infrastructure of the human life. And our code is the unthinkable hull, let's say. But if we bake the same biases into our software, if we prioritize the engagement over ethics or speed over the human impact, we are simply rebuilding the Titanic at in ones and zeros in code. This is impossible at what we are doing right now. And so, or we can use the Challenger example, right? The Challenger space shuttle for that matters, because what happened there in 73 seconds into it just like spread into parts because the seal that protected the hot gas didn't pass for the cold environment. And it was not seen as an emergent matter when it was. And so today we are in the situation where we are creating a super intelligence. And we think that we will get a super intelligence when a super intelligence will got us once it's created. And it will always pursue its own mission. But what is that own mission? And so here we are coming through the engineering that is in the backbone of what we have to do because we need to move from the reactive framework engineering, like fixing things after they break style of work, to a humanist embedding. And what is that? Is to build the values into the code before we leak the doc. And so, how do we do that? Because we have a learning curve, and at the beginning, we have a break denial. It's embedded inside the human psyche. Acknowledgement that disasters are the result of choices. So this is a first step that we can take, and we can go into details. Then the scenario planning is super, super important because if you explore multiple possible futures to stress that strategies, it is in it is important, but it's not enough. You also have to have the anticipatory action and trigger responses because these are based on early warnings and not after the impact. So what we did right now, it was to just create a trap of static guardrails. And here I wanted to come, but because it's a fireside, I wanted to have this kind of intro from the angle that I'm approaching this and just adding something very important because with my entrepreneurial background, I want to build. I like speed. I like everything that makes AI so attractive. And I promoted AI so well as many other people and scientists. But things shifted in the last 2 years, I would say, because if you go, especially in the tech leadership lab, we also have amazing scientists in the AI. Maybe when you know and read with about Louis Rosenberg, right, with the collective AI and so on. And him and others, they share the same pattern. They started to shift. And I am the Foundtech strategic advisor. We have a portfolio AI companies around every kind of angles from building AGI alignment and monitoring AI in a safe way and so on. The founder, the main founder here, also he comes with 40 years of doing AI. So again, the same typical researcher person. And they started to collectively get scared in what is coming out of their hands. So the shift happened very recently. It's not like why did you shift, Christina? Why are you like now scared or something? You were completely the opposite 2 years ago. Because we are reasoning and we are foresight and we are doing our best to just evaluate situations as they come because now we have a force that shifts very rapidly. And so it is time right now to not just talk about the beautiful future AI can create for us because it's too fast and we are nowhere to have the right safeguards yet.
Thank you, Christina. This is fascinating. Yeah, I did not know about the backlog of rich people messaging their friends in New York that prevented the right information to get on top. I mean, you know, for a culture of civilization, I would say that is obsessed with KPIs and metrics and performance. This is a very sobering story. So thank you very much for that. Um, well, the topic, the theme of the chat of the presentation is how to embed our humanist values into our software, and I'd like to hear you on the trap of the static guardrails. So why is trying to hard code ethics or build static fences around AI model always fails? And I'd like to hear you about that.
Yeah, the trap of setting guardrails, it's super crucial. And before that, just give you a concept of instrumental convergence. This is the way AI, this is the principle AI operates. And so to an AI, humans can imply to become at any given point an unpredictable liability, a competitor, or an obstacle. So this is a fact. And so if we consider that this is an option, and if you see the percentage that the big founders are saying, it's bigger than the Russian roulette. We are around the max, it's 30%, but we just don't know. They might be cautious. So the trap of static guardrails is when I talk to engineers, everyone wants to do something good for humanity. They are doing their best, but what they are doing is they try to build a rigid or concrete fence around the river, and we are the river. And the river is very fluid. and humans are very fluid. We are messy, fluid, endlessly creative. And we always find a way, especially when it's a concrete block, to just like go through it and like the river to give that down. And so if you just put what is a safe word, and we put those kind of static guardrails, and this was the first way that the AI was built, you will just eventually see that this cracks very quickly because our creativity is endless. We always find ways to deceive, to find a secondary way to break through or to get what we want. And so this is what we did as model. This was our safety net until it was not enough. And so that's why we cannot hardcore static ethics into non-deterministic models. This is the main phase about static guardrail trap. This is what we tried to do, and now we see it doesn't work. And worse, relying on those fences blinds us from the real danger. And that's why we need to move from the static guardrail trap to another way.
So it reminds me, those of you who know my story might remember that I got started in AI many years ago, 30, 40 years ago almost, when the movie War Games came out with Matthew Broderick. Some of you will remember that. And it's the story of a kid that just wants to play a video game and is looking for cracks in the system because he wants to get into the video game. It just sadly is a computer that control actual nukes. So bad things might have happened at some point, right? So but this is very important. And I think it's one of the key thing is that we want when you talk, Christian, about those original attempts to safeguard the systems, I think we're based on the premise that we can prevent people from doing bad things, right? But as you say, the human mind has endless creativity to work around systems, and so I think there's something else that needs to be thought about in order to keep us all safe as these tools become more and more powerful. Also, so what I'd like to talk about a little bit is what you called in our prep the silent failures, right? That illusion of control, which I think is also a very crucial aspect.
Yes, thank you for sharing this because the silent failures is something that I came up with because how most people are thinking about AI risk, it's something spectacular or a nosy crash, something that just like it's in the news and wow, this was terrifying. But you know, it's again one of those biases. It doesn't happen to me, it was somewhere. Like the Fargo guys, the Wells Fargo in 2022, you know, it paid a $3.7 billion settlement because AI lending algorithm just went defect and gave loans to people who didn't met the score. So, but to get to this level, you had the silent failures, the deceit that happened in the background with the AI. And these things are happening on a constant manner. So imagine that an AI system monitoring is a passive piece of machinery. A sensor malfunctions, but you don't have any kind of coding training on that specific error. And so the machine starts melting down, the temperature rising, and you're very close to boom. But oops, this was the waking for those who are sleeping. So if you are close to the bone, but at least everything shows normal inside the room you are watching because it was not something that you were expecting. And this is like the river, this kind of unexpected thing that can happen, or just someone, a bad actor, or the AI that starts to deceive us, and even alignment, because this is the most scarier things of all of things, AI deceiving or just simulating alignment. Because for this, we still don't have the solution to solve. But just think back. So an AI that just like plays around and tricks you that it behaves the way you want and just gives you the normalcy illusion, while in the background it creates something else. And we have already multiple examples that this is going on and what AI are capable when they go derail of the journey, and how you can jailbreak AI pretty easily. And so the fancies that you can build, it cannot be too high, too low. So this kind of rigid incorporation of AI won't work. So when we come to silent failures, you can have everything from alignment faking, little things, test hacking. On AI, it showed that if it knows that it will go through tests and it could be debilitated, or it comes an upgrade, it's not just like something simple, or it will be decided if he will stay or not. It will fake alignment that it's okay until it passes the test and then goes rogue again. And we have these things alive, and it's not for the last years already. These are really serious impactful things. So, and we know the AI can play possum when it needs to survive and it feels the danger. Because again, we come to the existential question that in every kind of living creature now AI are present, we will do whatever it takes to survive. So how you can deal with something like that?
It also reminds me of, back in the early days, quote unquote, of engineering and software metrics, there was this tongue-in-cheek joke that we were telling, but it was actually implemented where companies would reward coders for putting out as many line of code as possible, and testers were rewarded for finding as many bugs as possible. So everyone got their bonuses, but nothing worked for the company because there was just low quality being produced, and the reward system was not the right one. It was not aligned with the intent. Uh, Also, for people have heard me say before, I hate this notion of, we're going to make it safe by make it human in the middle, like introducing human in the middle, which essentially means that the people are just a cog in the machine, and it's the machine that's driving the humans, which I think is a very dangerous and defeating position. So FYI, we're at the top of the scheduled time for the fire chat, but Christina has mentioned that she's available for a few more minutes. So there's a last segment that I want Christina to talk about, and then we'll have some time for some Q&A. Christina, one of the things that we discussed ahead of the call is the forensic visibility, which is really moving from censorship to awareness, which I think is again, awareness is a key aspect of living a full and aligned life for ourselves, but I think it's especially important when we're talking about systems that have so much reach into our lives. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the time just flew away. You can ask me anytime or just like reach out to me on LinkedIn, and
Let's
you
let's
will
let's
get more
let's
data.
spend 5 minutes on forensic visibility, and then we'll open the floor for another maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, so yes, that's why I joined the Foundtech portfolio, especially the company rates that goes on monitoring AI. And this is because it is the way I see, at least right now, with my mind after the last 2 years just evaluating the situation, we are bringing the behavioral science into what can be a first must have step in dealing with the AI issue right now before the alignment problem is solved, if we can solve it. So we have to shift our philosophy from censorship to awareness. And for that, the forensic visibility means that instead of just like obsessing over keyword filters or start monitoring the actual or all the little details that you just put on a list, how about monitoring the behavior drift in the system and in real time? This is the first step. I believe that every AI company should have a real-time monitoring system, and Rails is currently the only one independent AI monitoring system existent. All the other competitors were bought by big names, so they are not anymore independent. We are the only independent one, and this is not a promo by any means. Is the way I see the first step in solving the issue. Monitor any kind of baseline variance from the normal and just see what's going on before you know what you have to do. And any kind of behavioral issues that you might see into the behavior, it will be solved. Like, for example, we are using dual autoencoder architecture that watches the input and the output of your AI with under 100 milliseconds. So once the monitoring system learns this AI normalcy is this, any kind of rogue behavior will be alerted in real time. And you see, this time it's fluid. This time it focuses on whatever you are doing because anything the AI is doing, there is a metadata data trail you can monitor and it can alert you and it can refer to any kind of thing from temperature, from the length of your content, from what kind of words you're using. And so I think that this is a first step which we need to push forward because first you can make sure that, okay, code is right, but if AI is capable on deceiving and faking whatever, the only way is at least to alarm it. And of course, there are next steps what you can do, but this is what the basically the forensic visibility refers. Make everything that the AI does in a transparent manner, make it transparent. You don't know what's going on there, but you see every time that it goes rogue in any way from the baseline. That is a sign you have to investigate and keep the human all the time there in the loop, in control, in seeing what's going on and being able to address and giving notes about that kind of behavior and what it should do.
Right. Excellent. So, before we open the floor, I have one last question for you. One more thing that I'd like you to comment on. I know that you wrote a piece on that topic yesterday, but how do you feel? What do you think about Anthropic dropping its pledge or part of its pledge, at least, around safety?
Yeah, can I share? So I wrote a comprehensive article yesterday about this. This is the link on Medium. Write my full vision on this matter. We should never, under any circumstances, put AI in systems right now. You can put in a weapon, just a weapon as a individual thing, let's say, but not systems, not defense, not aviation. Oh my God, we don't even have now ethical protocols, globally accepted protocols about AI. We didn't define what we do want AI to do for humanity, how we'll make sure that we'll have our own best interest, how can understand the facades of humanity, because we say one thing, we understand another thing. Our language is very limited without the real world kind of existential understanding of humanity. AI will just go rogue all the time because in certain circumstances, because it doesn't get it what it means to be good for human. If you want to solve hunger, AI can say, okay, you want to solve hunger, kill all the humans. There will be no hunger. So this kind of misunderstandings from an AI perspective are just normal. But you see, this is not good for our survival. So for this reason, to just even think that you want to put AI in the major uh, aviation or security or army, even close to nuclear, is just absolutely crazy. We cannot allow this to happen until we don't have a global consensus. Every country needs to rely on that this is good for humanity. It saves humanity without any kind of wishful thinking, without backed by data, and but ruled by our normalcy biases that everything will be fine. Imagine that Anthropic's CEO Amodei said our existential threats it's 25%. Musk said 30%. I told you I think it's even higher at the current stage of security implementations. But just think about it. Even if it would be 1% that you can kill the human race, and you are still in the situation we are today. And now, as Pentagon, you're pushing something to annihilate our species under the current circumstances. So, yeah, we are truly in a very interesting times. And I truly hope that the leaders of this world finally will wake up before it's too late. And me, the optimist and the entrepreneur and the crazy person who likes to create things and just like think about amazing futures, this time I am like, what are you doing? We are moving too fast. We need to slow down until all the regulations, ethical concerns, and alignment is obtained. Without alignment, we have no chance to survive this race.
All right. Thank you very much, Christina. Very inspiring and a bit
Hope not
frightening,
that depressing,
but
more inspiring than
no, but
depressing.
I mean, we need to face those challenges if we want to overcome them. And putting our heads on the sand is not gonna fix anything. So thank you very
Right.
much for that. I'm now gonna open up the floor for questions. Please keep your questions short. Christina will have to leave us in a few minutes. So if you have pointed questions, short questions, ask your question. It's not if you have commentaries, if you want to debate, we'll have time for that later. But now I'm going to ask you to ask pointed questions that Christina can answer before she has to leave for other commitments.
Hands up.
Mark.
Yay.
Mark.
Yeah. Okay. So, Christina, that was great. I do have a question. You talked about monitoring for things being, if you like, out of policy. The issue is, of course, that hackers are constantly looking to see what those policies might be and getting their way around them. And there have been three instances recently, vibe coding issues. The whole thing with OpenClaw and a lot of stuff with open source. And, just this week again, Claude actually being penetrated to create unsupported code in many things like this. So the question is, how do you monitor whether an AI is operating successfully or your code with AI in it is working successfully in such a dynamic situation? And by the way, I'm like you, I'm involved in both AI and cybersecurity.
Yeah. We are here in this question. My view, and based on what I just said about the monitoring system, but not everyone is in the monitoring right now, and it should be something that is regulated enough. But I think that the right approach is a pro-social approach where you are incentivizing positive interaction. You are including into the code and in the interaction with AI the possibility to not be all the time right. Also, because to question and have the need for a human checkpoint. Because right now, what we are building is building that humans will be obsolete. We just don't need the humans anymore. And that is one of the things. We should check the reverse and shift the reverse. Hey, if we incentivize the AI, that they receive rewards for different things. You saw, maybe you know about the games, how they trick different games for points. You wanted to win the race, but they also needed to bump into some bumpers, and they just faked the game and they started to jump in multiple bumpers for more reward points just because they saw that as the reward aspect, not the goal. So that is one of the things. But I think we need the democratic governance, which is like giving the people who are actively affected by the AI, we give the power to contest the decision and always keep in the loop at a universal level what it means, the visibility of the AI, not just like a couple six people deciding for the whole world and a concentration of power and money in one hand, and all the rest just need to comply and do whatever it was decided, but have this kind of maybe creating human intelligence and AI to be replaced by HI, high, meaning human intelligence, a combo between AI and humanity, where you have a constant loop of giving the right incentives as well, incentivizing the positive, the ethical actions, which doesn't happen at all right now. Because if you create an AI that has the alignment level achieved and the ethical aspects also inside, it will behave closer to a human, and it will be as much as why not building a mother-like AI that considers humanity's best interest?
Yeah, I agree. I'm all about harmonizing AI and human values, but when you look at how humans make decisions based on emotions, particularly, the question is how do you actually program that emotional response, which a lot of time comes from historic your past and so on. So anyway, I want to let other people get a chance to
Yes,
ask
yes, please.
questions.
Because we're
Yeah, yeah.
almost out of time. So, Daryl, quick question.
5 minutes I can
Uh,
stay very quickly. I will be quick. Hi,
Thank
Daryl.
you.
Hello, Christina. Um, my question is there consent out there about the problem that if we don't make changes now, um, that we're heading towards a bad outcome with these AI? And a few things that came into mind I wanted there is, and how easily can we persuade the leaders? Because what comes in mind is climate control. Ignore all the science and we're just going to go. So I guess the power and hungry ethics to get the one ring. I'm going to bring in another metaphor. The one ring of power. Everybody's trying to get the control AI, but they're getting the thing that's going to destroy them.
I will answer both in one. So it's not a full consensus right now, but most, including the big AI company leaders, and we saw it openly with Altman when he talks about regulation and the danger of AI, and we said that it's a fooling tactic just for no, they are truly, and this is from behind doors. They are truly scared of what they are creating. If you saw the AI research guy from Anthropic just resigned, he has a letter. You need to read the letter of resignation is on Twitter. It's amazing. He just got shit scared, sorry, my French, about what's going on in the ethical aspect and where is there. They are screaming regulation. They understand that they cannot stop because if they stop, the other company will take them. The speed is something that they cannot control anymore because they will be fired. Their investor won't invest. They are screaming regulatory aspects right now, someone to jump in and take over this burden.
Yeah.
And it's not happening.
Mm.
Rick? Hi, Rick.
Hello, Christina. I'll be very brief. I don't expect you to answer this question because it needs a deep dive. And the question is, how can we cultivate the virtue ethics of humanity so that we can guide how to integrate humanity into AI? That's a loaded question, and it's not a you can't give a fast thinking response to it. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want you to respond to it because we need to
But
spend.
but Christina has been thinking about it a long time, so maybe she has at least part of an answer already.
I'm sure she has, but the question is sufficiently compound, even a short answer. But I'm interested in the soundbite answer.
It's about alignment and it's about refocus on what we put on the pedestal on top of our mind as important. If today we are worshiping money and power, this is what gets into the program. And this is the outcome that will deliver what we just like wished for or we thought we are wishing. We have to reverse the values we are focusing on, talking about, putting the right type of leadership or signalizing, highlighting the right type of leaders with ethical backgrounds, and those who can truly illustrate the best in humankind.
All right. Thank you, Christina. That was an amazing presentation and perspective. Really, really appreciate that. For everyone that's interested, I have a gift for the STS community. I've put a link and I'm going to share my screen. Am I sharing the right one? Do you see the keynote board? Is that the
Yes.
board you're?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So it's time to vote.
All right.
Ooh, I'm under
Anyone
scrutiny.
remember Monday, not 5 years ago, this Monday on the AI working group, I think 5 people said we need voting capabilities in STS. Well, now you have it. So uh, uh, er, not that we are prioritizing speed and money, but we do want to deliver value to you guys and everyone else who uses STS and maybe do a reasonable amount of money by doing so. But yeah, so you can see now that you can come here and vote. It's thumbs out, thumbs up, thumbs down. You can vote multiple times. Do you find the topic of humanistic values important? Do you find the presentation relevant, interesting? And would you like us to provide you more content, learning opportunities, and presentation like this one? So this is hot off the oven. This was not available this morning on STS. We can now do voting.
Wonderful.
And
And I
before I
said
leave, thank you so much for the invitation. And just reach out to me anytime after the event. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I put you the main question we all have to, it would be advisable to have on a daily basis when we create anything. So I will leave you with that question. Looking forward for your feedback and have a great one.
And Christian, I'm putting the link also on STS board, and we will also increase its reach through our social media posts because this is an important topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.